So I just wanted to talk about energy, something which is quite topical at the moment. What with the energy crisis, with the war in Ukraine and the supply of gas and oil in jeopardy and fuel prices going up, it's something which we're all considering. And the energy cap has risen in April. I think it's something like £1,900 now, and it's due to go up again in October. Yeah, it's something that's on everybody's mind. So I just thought I'd say a little bit about how we generate our energy and basically what does it cost us for our energy on a boat. Just run through what we've got to start with, what sort of equipment we have. So firstly, we have a stove, which you can see just here. This is our stove and our oven. So that's fired by propane. We have a 13 kilo bottle. That is all we use for cooking is the gas. So for heating, our primary source of heating in the winter is our wood burning stove, which is just here. I think it's a 3 kilowatt stove, that one. And obviously we've got a stash of logs here, so we burn logs on it, and we also burn coal, which we've got in that scuttle there. So that's our primary source of heat. We also have radiators on board. We've got one in the living area, a towel rail in the bathroom, and then another radiator in the bedroom. So that is fired from a boiler, which is diesel fired and heats a bit like a domestic hot water tank. It's called a calorifier, so that heats the water up and also does the heating of radiators. But that is not our primary source of heating for our water. Our engine does that. So when our engine gets warm, when the engine is warm enough, rather than going straight to the radiator or the skin keel cooler, it goes to the calorifier. So that's how we heat our water primarily when we're going along. So when we're going along, we've got obviously propulsion of the boat. We can heat our hot water, and the third thing we can do is charge our batteries to get electricity. So we have currently got 4 leisure batteries on board. These are 110 amp, and we need to run the engine for about an hour and a half to 2 hours a day in the winter to enable us to keep those batteries charged up enough for us to run our lights, use a bit of television sometimes, keep the computers and laptops charged up, and ignition for our boiler and our stove and any electrical requirements. We've got 240 on board. We've got an inverter, which is this thing here. That supplies us with 240 and also helps with the charging regime for the batteries. Okay, so that's the primary source of electricity. Secondary, we've got solars. So here on top of the boat are our solar panels. So we've got 4 of these 110 amp solar panels, which provide us with some electricity during the summer months. So then, to summarise, our main forms of energy are our engine, and then there's our diesel fired boiler, which does our heating and our hot water. Then we have our multi-fuel stove, which we use for heating and also for some cooking. We use logs on and coal. And then finally there's our oven and hob. So what are our main forms of fuel? So firstly there's diesel, which we get from fuel boats and marinas. There's gas, which we use for the stove. Coal, which we use for the multi-fuel stove, and we also use wood on that stove, which we forage along the way. So the burning question is, how much does all that cost us? So I've done this as an average. We've done 3 winters on the boat now and 2 whole seasons, so I've got an average of the costs of what we've used, and this is how it breaks down. So firstly, diesel, we've used 679 litres per year, and that's cost us £512. As I say, this is all averages. The gas, which we use just for the stove, we've used 72 kilos, and that's cost us £122 on average. And finally, the coal which we use for the multi-fuel stove, we've used 676 kilograms, and that's worked out at £318 for the coal. And then obviously the wood which we use is all free because we forage that alongside the towpath where we can, and the energy we generate from the solars is also free. So in total that works out at £952 over average over the last 3 years. Now obviously fuel has gone up now, so I'm just going to put a figure together for what it would cost in today's money for the coal, the gas and for the diesel as it stands now in April 22. So that figure on the up-to-date prices, this is based on diesel currently being about £1.20 a litre, that's for red diesel that we use on the boat, and gas being about £42 for a 13 kilo cylinder, and the coal being £11.50 for a 25 kilo bag. So yeah, that works out at £12.87. So really, in comparison with a 3-bedroom house, an average 3-bedroom house in the country, the price cap on that I think it currently is £1,970. So yeah, so compared with that, I mean it does seem reasonably cheap, but there are a few considerations. Firstly, we have to carry everything to the boat. Our diesel is not quite so bad because we get that from a fuel boat or from a marina pump, but coal and gas and wood has to be carried to the boat. So we have to make sure we haven't got too much on the boat because we have only got a limited amount of space, but we just need to make sure we've got enough just so we don't run out and there's enough there to keep us going. And we don't want a surplus either, so we don't not want to have bags of coal carrying around all summer on the boat. One other thing that's worth bearing in mind is that although we use the diesel to run the engine for generating electricity to charge our batteries and to supply our hot water, of course we're also using that for propulsion. So you know, it'd be like sort of thing as when you're running a car, you're only using that fuel just to run the car from A to B. But on the boat, we're using the energy that's produced from the engine not only for propelling the boat from A to B, but also for heating the hot water and for generating electricity to charge the batteries. So that's just a summary of the costs. Like I say, it's quite a topical thing now with the energy crisis, the fuel cap rising, so it's something that's worth considering. So if anybody is thinking of getting a boat, I hope this may be of some help to you. It's only what our figures are. Obviously it varies from boat to boat and what you use, how often you're on it, but we continuously cruise, we're on it all year round, and that's what it costs us. So yeah, hope that's helped. Thanks very much, and I'll see you again. Bye.